So the next area to talk about is that when you're actually having problems that you want to identify what's going on. So for this, going to take a look at this. So the number one extension, in my opinion, to do this is PG stat statements. Now,
Links
again,
below.
Pardon me?
Links below.
Yes, links below. So Postgres has this concept of extensions. So you can basically add additional modules to Postgres to give you additional features. And this, in my opinion, is probably the most important one that I always install. And it's called PG stat statements. And it's basically collecting statistics on all statements run against the database. So it's a view that, excuse me, it collects all the inserts, deletes, updates, selects that are run against the system. And it gives you a parameterized view of them. So for example, if you have a table that says select, all from the orders table where the ID is 2, and then you have select all from the orders table where ID equals 5, those are essentially the same query, the same plan will essentially be used. That just shows up once with select all from orders where ID equals like $1. It's basically a parameterized version of the query, and that's what it stores in PG stat statements. Now, I'm sure other databases, I haven't used Oracle or MySQL frequently enough, but I'm sure they have something equivalent that allows you to look at what statements have been run on the database system over time. Now, this gives you information. First, it shows you that parameterized query, so you can look at what query you're talking about, but then it lets you know, was this the right? Okay, so it gives you, let me see if there's a better version of this, because I was looking at, no, okay. So it lets you know total time spent doing planning, total times spent doing execution, how many calls, how often this query was called. Now, to me, one of the most important things I like looking at is the total time spent on the database running the query. And it looks like this, like total execution time. So that tells you how much. So basically you can look at that and you order by it, and it can tell you this statement is taking the most time in your database. And you can say, hey, it's taking up, if you factor in all the number of different statements you're tracking, maybe this query is taking 25% of your database is spending time running this query. So if you could optimize that, that could give you much better performance of your overall system. So a lot of times I work with clients and we just look at this PG stat statements and we just start knocking out the top queries taking the most time. And then suddenly they don't need to upgrade their database anymore. So for me, this is a huge example of how you find the statements that are taking the most time that you can then optimize. If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.